This is CBC Here and Now.
We don't know exactly if the police had the authority to do what they did.
We can't and we wouldn't just randomly enter people's homes under any circumstances.
Controversy continues over how police handled the search for a missing teen on the West Coast. The RCMP is defending its officers' actions, but the justice critic says the details are disturbing.
Environmental hazard or tourist attraction.
Our main concern with this vessel was the threat to pollute to the local environment.
After more than a decade, the Hamilton banker leaves Colliers. That's just ahead.
Welcome to Here and Now. I'm Carolyn Stokes. The Serious Incident Response Team has shared its findings into the death of a man in police custody. The 35-year-old died in December 2020 in Happy Valley, Goose Bay. CERT found that police conducted a proper and fair investigation and ruled there was no criminal conduct. CERT wasn't operating at the time, but it reviewed the RNC's investigation, which included 40 civilian interviews with all officers involved, a review of the autopsy, and all audio and video recordings. While medical intervention may have helped, the medical examiner ruled the man likely would have died regardless. The RNC report found that officers and guards provided a reasonable standard of care. Well, the Hamilton banker is being moved. For years, the fishing vessel has been tied to the wharf in Colliers. But as Here and Now's Henrika Wilhelm reports, a massive effort is underway to move it and the harmful chemicals it's carrying.
From here to here in a couple of weeks, after almost 2 decades during which the Hamilton banker has been part of Colliers Ocean View.
It was just there and nobody really paid any attention to it.
The fishing vessel sank in June 2006 in Harbour Grace. It was then refloated and towed to Colliers, where it has stayed until now. Only during Snowmageddon it moved again.
During that storm, there was quite a storm surge, so the water levels in the area rose significantly. The vessel was able to sail in over where it is now, but as the storm surge came away, the vessel stranded on the rocky shoreline.
The ship's removal, a welcome sight for the town.
The council, we didn't have the resources of a small town to deal with it, and we're quite thankful that environmental response took over, and they've done an amazing job keeping the contaminants out of the water for the last couple of years while they were getting ready to take the boat apart.
A big endeavor and a necessary one.
This vessel, like most vessels, operational vessels, they're going to have a fuel oil. Their engines are going to require lubricating oils. From that process, there's waste oils and things that it takes, hydraulic oils that it takes to run a ship. Because this vessel unexpectedly found itself stranded, a lot of those oils, lubricating oils and things like that, were still aboard the vessel. Without the deconstruction taking place, those pollutants would still be on board, and eventually there would be a time come, likely in another storm, where those pollutants could be released uncontrolled to the environment, and they'd have lasting shoreline impacts.
Work that was facilitated by great cooperation.
If you didn't go down there, you'd never know they were there. They're so efficient at what they're doing, and it came apart a lot quicker than I anticipated it would, and pretty soon you'll never know they were here. It's a great overall success.
The removal is already on day 16, and according to Wakeham, it will likely take another 2 weeks until the Hamilton banker is history. Henrika Wilhelm, CBC News, Colliers.
Well, the RCMP held a news conference in St. John's just hours ago. They're offering an apology to a family from Mount Moriah who says the RCMP officers entered their home unannounced. But the Mounties say they did nothing wrong and that an internal investigation has proven that. The CBC's Ariana Kelland was at today's news conference this afternoon. She joins us now live. So, Ariana, what's the latest on this?
Well, Carolyn, this news conference has really capped off a week of back and forth between Courtney Pike and her family and the police force. Corporal Jolene Garland told members of the media today that senior officers have conducted their own investigation into what happened. They provided a detailed timeline of what they say transpired and why 2 Mounties went into the home in Mount Moriah last Sunday. But this investigation did not involve speaking with the actual homeowner in this case, and there are still major differences in the stories provided by both sides. The RCMP say they had many reasons to believe a missing teen was inside Courtney Pike's house. Her cell phone was showing as being in the area. The person who made the missing persons report told police the 17-year-old had been to the home before and had seen her in the basement the day before. Corporal Jolene Garland says police had no choice.
Had our police officers walked away and she had been located inside that home, suffering harm due to our inattention or inaction, I think we'd be having a very different conversation right now.
Garland says officers were within their rights to enter because they believed the girl was in danger.
So I don't have the specific level of harm other than to what was communicated to the RCMP by the complainant was that the youth expressed interests of concern of wanting to come home, and there was concerns for her safety at that point in time.
The RCMP also reiterated today what attempts were made to contact the homeowner, that officers tried for more than 40 minutes to wake the homeowners before entering, even banging on an oil furnace for 15 minutes. Today's news conference comes after the justice critic called for the RCMP to be less defensive, more sympathetic, and transparent about what happened and why.
But this kind of defensive-ness is not, I hope that it's not indicative of a culture, but, this us versus them, this attitude that, we have to protect ourselves, when really this is an opportunity. This is a great opportunity for the police, to look at this. If they made a mistake, identify that, explain that it was an honest mistake and build from that.
But Garland said the RCMP has already apologized twice. In Mount Moriah this afternoon, Courtney Pike is angry.
Those two officers never said one apology. They never even finished searching the house. If they thought that girl was in this house and in danger, why didn't they continue to search the house?
In the course of the investigation, have you confirmed that the family, which says they do not know this missing teen, in fact did have this teenager in their home?
That remains unknown at this time. What we can say is that there was a determination that the residence we searched and the missing person were unrelated.
I've never seen that girl before in my entire life. I'm starting to feel as if we were targeted.
So as you can see, both sides still very adamant that their version of the truth is the truth. Courtney Pike says that she has filed a formal complaint. However, the RCMP said today they have yet to receive one. The Mounties say their own internal investigation has vindicated them, but Pike says she is not letting this go. Reporting live for Here and Now, I'm Mariana Kelland.
It was a bit of a wet day out there today. Lots of rain for the south coast of the island as well as eastern areas earlier today, all thanks to an area of low pressure. You can see that spinning. It's quite large, in fact, and that is going to be our weather maker as we head through the night tonight. But look at where this moisture is coming from, all the way from the southern areas of the United States. Lots of humidity in the air as well, as you can feel it, or some humidity in the air, I should say, but lots of rain associated with this one. 70.5 millimeters of rain in Burgeo, Bay d'Espoir 54.9 millimeters, a little less for the Burin Peninsula, Port aux Basques as well, 26.9 millimeters of rain. There's still lots more rain coming though for the Canaveral Peninsula all the way through the Burin Peninsula as well as the southern Avalon. We're talking about another potential for 20 to 30 millimeters of rain, and that will fall through the overnight. Also the risk we could hear a few rumbles of thunder. I'll get into the full details coming up.
Thanks, Ashley. Well, salmon rivers are starting to fill up with anglers now that the season is open. Southwest Brook is a popular spot for casting early in the year. Anglers looking for a little solitude and a lot of salmon say this season is shaping up to be a good one. The CBC's Troy Turner dropped by.
Water splits and rushes around the legs. The perfect cast. The perfect balance between patience and impeccable timing. Then it strikes. The surge of the salmon is absorbed in the flex of the rod. Tension builds, but adrenaline is cooled only by experience. And the battle between fish and angler comes into view. Another day on the river, and the salmon is released again. The scenario has been playing out a lot on Southwest Brook over the past week.
It falls short of an addiction for myself. Just to see the salmon rise, words can't really describe it until you get into it yourself, and it's been something that I've been lucky enough to live in such a beautiful area. Being a guide over the years and getting people from all over the world, it's truly a blessing to live in such a place that we can salmon fish, to moose hunt, to caribou hunt, and then have another level of snowmobile outdoors. So it truly is a great feeling just to be able to take this all in and enjoy it.
Mitchell has been angling for nearly 20 years and has made Southwest, as the locals call it, his first cast each and every season for the past 9 years. It opened June 1st and has seen a steady flow of traffic since.
Feels good, especially out this way. The snow levels weren't as high as what we saw in Deer Lake. The water is actually pristine right now. Without any rain in the next couple weeks, you're going to see this drop really fast, and you'll see the salmon fishing slow down as well.
When the season opened, he hooked 4.
It's a great feeling. It gets the blood rushing. It's something that puts a smile on your face that words can't even describe.
For David Major, the river's a place of solitude, especially after missing last season with a cancer diagnosis. With a clean bill of health and the water under his feet, he's happy to be back.
I just loved it out in the country. And I like the view. I like to hear the birds singing in the morning. I sleep into my van. I got my music on. And I got my Tim Hortons coffee. And I just get up and go fishing, and I just love the outdoors.
From the activity on the river so far and the number of fish being hooked, anglers are telling me this season is shaping up to be a good one. Troy Turner, CBC News, Southwest Brook.
One of the oldest properties in Grand Falls, Windsor, now belongs to the town. Ownership of the historic Grand Falls house has been transferred from the province into the hands of the community. The house was built in 1909 by Alfred and Harold Harmsworth as part of the properties attached to the former paper mill. And today, the province handed over the historic home at no cost to either party. The chair of the Grand Falls House Foundation says the plan is to restore the building and develop it into an attraction for locals and tourists. The house, which overlooks the Exploits River, is considered to be one of the oldest in the region, and today's agreement means it can be preserved for generations to come. Well, if you're in the market for some well-kept antique furniture, the Sisters of Mercy of Newfoundland is holding an auction at its convent in St. John's. But the sale hints at a stark reality. The sisters haven't had any new recruits in more than a decade.
First of all, I guess we'd say it is a call, and perhaps many people are not being attentive to the call of the Spirit in their own lives. We haven't had any new persons entering the congregation in Newfoundland for a number of years, maybe more than 15 years now. But many of us are getting older, and people don't seem to be entering religious life like they used to.
I entered the convent in 1964, and when I came, the group that I came with, we were 31 young girls aged 16 to 22, 23. And I'm the only one left of that group. We're in Newfoundland 180 years this year. And we've had houses with, 8 and 12 sisters living and more in some of the houses. And over the years, we've accumulated all of this furniture. So what has happened with our decrease in numbers and our aging process, we have closed many of our houses. And the question is, what do we do with this beautiful pieces of furniture? So we said, well, maybe the good thing to do would be to make an offering to people so that other people might enjoy it, and also to get the money, the remuneration that we can continue to put then into our various ministries. And every piece of furniture has a story for the sisters, and the people who buy it will hear those stories and they'll make their own stories.
I mean, we're not afraid of the future. We're looking forward with hope that the spirit that brought us into being will help us to live out the best we can for the rest of our lives, and that the spirit of mercy and the charism of mercy and the gift of mercy will still carry on in some other way as the Spirit wants it to continue. And I think that's certainly going to happen.
Students at Bishop Field in St. John's were treated to a surprise today thanks to Jody Williams and the team at Bridges to Hope Food Aid Center. The group brought a carload of school supplies. The school is participating in what it calls a deep learning project, which allows them to participate in a community partnership to make a difference. Project Backpack is in partnership with the Association for New Canadians, which says that immigrant students will need supplies for the upcoming school year. The students will bring those supplies to the ANC next week, when each newcomer will receive a full backpack for the fall. The provincial government is cutting some red tape to make the transition smoother for Ukrainian refugees coming to this province. They're going to make it easier for them to get a provincial driver's license. Joining me now is someone who's been helping refugees settle in the province, Adelia Dragon. So can you tell me what this change means?
Hi. So the refugees are arriving. They're looking for the housing right now. To get the housing, they need to find a job first. To get a job, they need to either find a housing on the bus route or to get a car. To get a car, they need their driver's license and to pay the car insurance.
Tell me more about that. So some of the Ukrainian refugees were coming here and they were looking into getting some insurance for their car. How much more expensive was it for them to get insurance compared to people who are from this province?
Oh, actually we got some rates for 600s, for 800s, which is a lot. And actually I was driving around one of the refugees to work every morning because he couldn't afford to buy a car. I mean, he could afford to buy a car, he cannot afford to pay the insurance. Right. So right now, when they let them actually change the Ukrainian driver's license to a Newfoundland driver's license, the insurance rate will drop down 3 times less. So instead of paying 600 or 8, they will need to pay only $200 per month, which is like pretty average. I have heard a story of a guy who had 14 years of experience, driving experience in Ukraine, and now when he applied for the insurance here, he was told he will need to start all over again, like from 0 years of experience, and he actually will need somebody to drive with him for the next year, like with experience over 3 years. And where can he find that person, right? And plus he had a really great experience, and now when they actually change Ukrainian driver's license to Newfoundland driver's license, they will take into the consideration his driving experience, and the insurance rate will be lower, which is great.
How difficult is it for a Ukrainian refugee to actually access their driving history right now, to be able to submit it?
Well, it's not easy. So they need to call the DMV in Ukraine and ask them to email their history over here. So they can do that, but it will take some time to proceed.
And when you heard that the provincial government was going to change the requirements for receiving a driver's license, because they say that the requirements for getting a license in Ukraine are very similar to the requirements here, so they can make that transition easier. What did you think when you heard that that change was being made?
Oh, actually I was happy because everybody was struggling and didn't know what to do and how they're gonna get a job if they cannot get a car. And now it's just almost fixed. They will be able to get any job they like because it's so easy right now. Yeah, that's it. That's a big thing.
And we're going to be getting a new round, I guess you could say, of refugees coming to the province next week. There's another airlift that's going to be coming in on June 14th, carrying more refugees. So what do they need when they arrive? Like, what sorts of things are needed right now to help them settle in?
At first, they need to talk and to actually hear that they're now safe Like, we'll try to help as much as possible. We'll take care of them as much as possible. I personally will try to take care of them. Like, they need to hear that they're now in a safe place. And that is the most important thing.
Okay, well, Adelia Dragon, thank you so much for this. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for asking.
Take a look at the temperatures tomorrow morning, anywhere from 12 to 16 degrees. These are going to get even warmer. I'll have the full forecast coming up.
Well, time for a look at the weather, and we were just chatting during the break that it actually feels kind of humid in the studio.
It feels it in the studio, yeah.
Unusual sensation, not used to feeling that humidity, but it seems to be coming through.
Which is finally nice that we're seeing some of that humidity certainly around the province. It's been very dry lately.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. But yeah, temperatures today were pretty nice in some areas. Let's take a look at what was going on today. 15 degrees in St. John's today, 18 in Gander, so not nearly as warm as we saw yesterday, but temperatures towards Deer Lake, Corner Brook into the 20s, and then temperatures up across Labrador. The warmest still in the southeast. Oh, well, Cartwright anyway, 18 degrees was your afternoon high. So taking a look at what's going on out there right now, lots of cloud cover, but yeah, that humidity that we were just talking about, 14 degrees, but it's feeling more like 17. So that's, you know, with a dew point of 14 degrees, you're definitely feeling that out there. Winds not too bad right now out of the south-southwest, around 20 kilometers per hour, but we are going to see those winds pick up as we head through the night tonight. Taking a look at the current temperatures in Humidex pretty much everywhere else. Terra Nova feeling more like 19, Badger's feeling more like 20, same thing for Gander, more like 25 in Corner Brook right now, and up across Labrador, not a whole lot for you, feeling more like 16 in Happy Valley Goose Bay. So the reason for that is exactly where all of this moisture is coming from, and you can see it extending there on the satellite and radar there all the way from pretty much the Gulf of Mexico. So that's where this air is originating and where we're seeing all of that moisture, which is why we've seen so much rain. So we do have some more rain on the way tonight, even seeing a couple of lightning strikes showing up over the Conagra Peninsula. That risk of thunderstorms, slight risk of thunderstorms, is going to continue as we head through the night tonight for most of eastern Newfoundland. So if you like thunderstorms like me, you may be in luck tonight. They won't be severe by any nature, but you may hear a few rumbles of thunder, which would be a nice treat with all of this rain. So speaking of rain, we do have those rainfall warnings still in place. These will likely be in place through the night tonight, and that's because we're looking at about 20 to 30 more millimeters of rain falling in those rainfall warning areas. Now, temperatures tonight aren't really going to move too much. We should sit between 12 and 14 degrees for essentially the eastern half of the island, but those winds are going to pick up. So we're looking at winds gusting between 40 and 60 kilometers per hour through the overnight. Your skies will stay partly cloudy as you head towards the west coast and northern peninsula tonight. Temperatures between 9 and 13 degrees. Up across the Big Land, you're still looking at that chance of showers for a good chunk of the evening. 10 degrees for Happy Valley Goose Bay. The rest of you should be seeing some winds easing, except for northern Labrador, where they'll be out of the northeast between 20 and 40 kilometers per hour. So here's a look at what's going on. Those showers will work their way across the Big Land tonight. And then again, we'll see that heavier rain tonight. This is where we're going to see that potential for some thunderstorms and some of that heavier rain for eastern Newfoundland. By the time we get into tomorrow morning, though, that should actually taper to showers. West coast looking absolutely beautiful to start the day. And showers will continue up across Labrador. Now, as we get into noon, sometime in the early afternoon, we should actually see that sun come out, and it should turn into an absolutely beautiful day through the day on Saturday. Going to hang on to that chance of showers, though, up across the Big Land for most of you, really, and even into the evening hours and overnight is when we should see some of that clearing. You may hang on to some showers, though, for the west. Overall, you're going to be in onshore flow along the southern areas of the island, so you can expect fog patches in the overnight periods, but as the day goes on, you should actually see that fog dissipate, and then into Sunday, another beautiful day for most. A few clouds up across Labrador, but you may see a few showers through central areas of the island, but overall, another beautiful day on Sunday, which is certainly finally some good news. So look at the temperatures too, looking lovely. 21 degrees for St. John's. The winds will be a bit brisk in the morning out of the southwest, around 50 kilometers per hour, but as the day goes on, those winds will ease. Same thing for the west coast. A little cooler for you though. And again, onshore flow expected on the southern areas of the island, so keeping your temperatures a bit cooler. Away from that, though, we're talking 20, 24 degrees through areas of central. Now, as far as Labrador goes, staying gray, going to keep temperatures a bit cooler as well from Makovic northward into the single digits, but the rest of you should be seeing temperatures between 10 and 17 degrees. And your Sunday, take a look at this. Looking absolutely beautiful into the 20s again, other than that chance of showers through central and maybe along the strait. Looking like a beautiful day. We'll talk about what's in store next week when I come back.
We didn't leave any stones unturned, as it were, in terms of their staying power. They really struggled to come back after the pandemic, and I know from speaking to the New York producers just a couple weeks ago that they were really working hard to keep the show open as best they could, but you know, you can't fight the times really that much.
With the Broadway version of Come From Away slated to close this fall, we check in with a cast member from the Toronto production.
Well, the sounds of an incredible musical success that will forever be linked with this province will slowly be fading. Come From Away will close on Broadway this October, more than 5 years after it opened, the most successful Canadian musical on Broadway ever. And one of the people involved with the Canadian premiere is my next guest, and that's George Maswal. He played the part of Claude Elliott, who we all know is the Mayor of Gander, and George is in the studio. Welcome to On the Go.
Hey, thanks. Glad to be here.
So what went through your mind when you heard the news that Come From Away is going away, at least from New York?
Well, I mean, I'm sad for all involved. It's it's a great story to be running anywhere, anytime, for us here, and for the world at large. I mean, it's just a great story to be sharing, but they definitely didn't leave any stones unturned, as it were, in terms of their staying power. They really struggled to come back after the pandemic, and I know from speaking to the New York producers just a couple weeks ago that they were really working hard to keep the show open as best they could. But
right,
you can't fight the times really that much. But they've done very well.
On my mind, when I heard the news, was it's not so much that it's over, but that it had such an amazingly long run.
Yeah, to get 5 years. I mean, when they wrote it, they had no idea that it would go to Broadway or even anywhere close to that.
Yeah.
So, to get all that time and 5 companies around the world and more actually, because there are licensed productions as well that are, there's one in Amsterdam, there's one just opened in Buenos Aires that he was at the opening of this week.
Argentina, wow.
So I think there was one in Sweden translated, and it's not going away. It's just closing on Broadway for now. There will eventually be a Broadway revival, and as we've heard recently, the Toronto production is probably going to come back in a couple years.
Right. Now you performed in it, and you were part of the Canadian production. What was that like, that first time on stage?
Oh, well, it was amazing, and I don't know if people are aware of this, but we opened the show actually in Winnipeg. We rehearsed in Toronto, and then we went to Winnipeg for 5 weeks and opened it there, and the whole run was sold out before we even started rehearsing. And the creative team, it was only their second time mounting it, so they really didn't know how it would go over with a second company, but they were pretty sure that it would succeed. And when we walked out, and we just had faith in the writing and in our preparation, and the roof blew off of the place, and then we knew we were in for a pretty great ride.
And what's that ride been like for you? What have you enjoyed about it?
Well, up until March of 2020, it was pretty great. Enjoyed a lot about it. For me personally, one of the greatest gifts that Come From Away has given me, I mean, Come From Away really gave me Newfoundland. That's the greatest gift for me.
Well, that's a really nice personal side of it. On the professional musical side, what did you enjoy about the music?
Oh, the music was fun. The music was very fun, and with Bob Hallett's influence as well, they were able to make it really a lot more authentic to Newfoundland style of music.
What is it about it? Why did it resonate the way it did? I mean, you mentioned that the people who created and produced it, they didn't say, hey, we're going to make this a Broadway smash hit. They made a play, a very nice thing, and it just took off. What is it about it?
It's about how people respond. It's about how people react in a time of trial, and the best of human nature. And I think we all need and want to relate to that. And beyond that, beyond the larger theme of community and kindness, it's just a really good show. It's really well constructed. It takes you on a roller coaster ride, which is what the people in Gander were on, and the people from the plains at the time. So it's constructed in that way to just take you on that ride, and it's relentless. It takes you up and down and up and down, and then brings you close to the characters and the people.
Are you going to be continuing to have something to do with productions of this for...
You know what? The actors are always the last to know. What I'm going to be doing in 2 years is anybody's guess. I came back here to start a business now, to live here and start a business. So I'm starting actually a tourism business that is based on Come From Away. I'm going to be giving a Come From Away reality tour starting out of St. John's, 5 days up around meeting all the real people and experiencing the things that happened. So I've made very, very strong decisions about where I want to be and how I want to make the rest of my life go. And it's here. This is the spot for me.
And you feel productive?
I do feel productive. I'm creative. I'll never be able to stop being creative, I hope. I hope it doesn't go away. But yeah, I got to stay creative, and I will. I promise you that.
I'm certainly glad that you've stuck around, and I wish you all the best. And I really appreciate you sharing your memories and your thoughts about Come From Away. Thank you very much.
It's my pleasure.
Returning now to one of our top stories, the ongoing controversy over how police handled the search for a missing teenager on the West Coast.
What we can say is the youth was not located inside that home. That's what we're able to say at this point. No more, no less.
The RCMP defended its actions today, saying they believed a 17-year-old was in this home in Mount Moriah and in danger. But the homeowners say not so. Courtney Pike says 2 officers entered quietly through a basement door, woke her sleeping 11-year-old daughter, and questioned her without alerting her sleeping parents. The family says police did not knock and they didn't identify themselves either. Earlier today, the opposition's justice critic says the RCMP has more explaining to do.
At least at a minimum, a first step would be an effort by the police, by an attempt by the police to reach out to the family. And to apologize to the family, recognize what they have gone through, and explain their actions. In addition to that, I understand that the family has filed a complaint with the RCMP. So, that certainly needs to be acted upon. Was this an honest mistake? If it was an honest mistake by the police, and they did not have the authority to do that, then they should admit that. They should come forward, they should apologize to the family, and even just to recognize what the family has endured. I mean, it was clearly, no doubt, a terrifying experience to have this happen in the wee hours of the morning. And so that they need to recognize and acknowledge, the impact that this has had on the family. But also there's a greater interest at large here as well, because they need to ensure that the public has confidence that the police are acting, properly when they're making decisions, important decisions.
Sorry, what do you make of the inconsistencies? First it was a house with a number, then it was just a red house, then it was a house with a doorbell, then it was no doorbell.
I think that's what's also very concerning, that we're getting different accounts of what has happened. So the public are being left to speculate as to what happened. And this is of concern because we don't know exactly if the police had the authority to do what they did. We need to understand what happened here. It is incumbent upon the police. Now we do hear that they claim that they had the authority to do that. If that is the case, then we need to understand what the circumstances were.
And that was the PC Justice critic speaking with reporters just hours before the RCMP held a news conference of its own. The RCMP says it has conducted its own investigation into the search and found no wrongdoing. Canada added nearly 40,000 jobs last month, pushing down the unemployment rate to a record low. The jobless rate of 5.1% is the lowest since comparable record-keeping started in 1976. The month of May saw a strong growth, with 135,000 people finding full-time work. But those big gains were offset by a drop in part-time positions by 96,000. The overall high demand for workers is also pushing up wages. Statistics Canada says the average hourly wage rose nearly 4% on a year-over-year basis in May. Well, the Pope has canceled a trip to South Sudan and the Democratic Republic of Congo. The Vatican says it's because of ongoing knee problems. The trip to Africa was scheduled for early July, just weeks before a planned visit to Canada. The Pope met today with the president of the European Commission. A torn knee ligament has forced him to use a wheelchair at times for the last month or so. He's supposed to visit Iqaluit, Quebec City, and Edmonton at the end of July. The Vatican did not say if his condition would affect his trip to Canada, but did say the Pope's other commitments were confirmed. Well, it's Friday, so let's find out who's celebrating. Happy 50th anniversary to Jocelyn and Wilson Wheeler of Summerside. Congratulations to Walter and Lorraine Tobin of Balleen East, who are celebrating their 55th wedding anniversary. Best wishes to Gwen and Don Tremblett, who are also celebrating 55 years of marriage. They live in Grand Falls, Windsor. Happy 50th anniversary to Mary and Lemuel Mayo in St. John's. They're celebrating in British Columbia. Happy 52nd wedding anniversary to Lindsay and Gladys Bungie of Grand Bank. And this is Fred and Glenda Hunter of Grand Falls, Windsor, who are celebrating 50 years of marriage. Special greetings from their family and 5 grandsons. And here's an impressive one. Happy 71st wedding anniversary tomorrow to Len and Bernice Parsons of Gander. Congratulations. And best wishes to Ben and Elsie Hiscock of Champneys West, who are celebrating 66 years together. Wishing Lionel and Frances Lavalley from Pigeon Cove a happy 51st wedding anniversary. Anniversary greetings going out to Tom and Joan Whalen of Gander. It's their 57th anniversary tomorrow. George and Catherine Marshall of Dunville are celebrating their 53rd anniversary. Congratulations. Clyde and Margaret Ann Hines are celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary today. They're from Port-au-Port East and now live in Mount Pearl, and here they are with their 2 oldest grandsons. Happy 58th wedding anniversary to Jim and Teresa Boland of St. John's. Happy 60th anniversary to Jesse and Evelyn Goulding of Gander. Wishing Joe and Bobby Coombs of St. John's a happy 54th wedding anniversary. Anniversary greetings going out to John and Ellen Marr of CBS on their 54th wedding anniversary. Happy 50th wedding anniversary to Danny and Sheila Hoff of Lewisport. Happy 50th anniversary to Murray and Madonna Pilgrim from Mainbrook. Congratulations to Jim and Eva Dwyer of Calagrews, who are celebrating their 52nd anniversary. Happy 69th wedding anniversary to Stuart and Cindy Button of Mount Pearl. And it's a 53rd anniversary for Calvin and Elsie Reed from Roddickton Bide Arm. Congratulations. Happy 60th anniversary to Harvey and Ruby Norman of Packet. Their big day is Sunday. Happy 60th anniversary also to Francis and Olive Elliott. Congratulations on that milestone. Happy 55th anniversary to Ken and Eileen Collins of Blackhead Cape Spear. Now to some birthdays. Birthday greetings going out to Mildred Kennedy in Carbonear, who will be celebrating her 96th birthday on Sunday. Happy birthday to Harvey Coates of Wings Point. It's his 90th tomorrow. Happy 94th birthday to Dorothy Malloy of Jean de Bay. Happy 96th birthday to Becky Billard of Isla Morte. Wishing Thelma Adams of Milton a happy 91st birthday. Birthday greetings going out to Rowena Mercer of Grand Falls, Windsor. It's her 97th birthday on Sunday. Happy 91st birthday to Donald Boone of Bishop's Falls, now living in Gander. And happy 90th birthday to Pearl Keene of Pound Cove, now living in New West Valley. Another fine crowd. Congratulations once again. Well, now some news from the entertainment world. Justin Bieber says he's had to cancel concerts this week because he has facial paralysis caused by Ramsay Hunt syndrome.
As you can see, this eye is not blinking. I can't smile on this side of my face. This nostril will not move. So there's full paralysis in this side of my face. So for those who are frustrated by my cancellations of the next shows, I'm just physically, obviously not capable of doing them. This is pretty serious, as you can see.
He says a virus in his ear caused the paralysis. On Tuesday, Bieber canceled shows scheduled for the Scotiabank Arena in Toronto. A concert in Washington that was supposed to go this evening has also been put off. There's no word yet on rescheduling them. Wow. Well, Ashley, before we get to the weather, is the grass greener on the other side? Thailand is giving away pots full of pot to encourage the public to grow marijuana at home.
Yeah, the government hopes that the move will make the drug more publicly acceptable.
Yeah. So 1 million cannabis plants are being distributed for free starting today. It comes a day after Thailand decriminalized the growing and consumption of cannabis.
Yeah, but the health minister says people sitting at home smiling and not getting any work done is not part of the government policy, even though Thailand legalized medical marijuana in 2018. Recreational use is still frowned upon, but Thailand is the first Asian nation to largely legalize marijuana.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Plants.
It's a lot
How
of
about that? Well, the plants in everyone's yards are going to enjoy the weather this weekend. It feels like it's going to be a nice growing weekend, a nice blooming weekend. We're going to get all that rain and the warm temperatures and then some sunshine. The flowers are going to love it.
Oh, they are going to be very happy, along with a lot of other people. I'm sure they will be very happy this weekend. Yeah, we're looking at an absolutely beautiful, finally, nice weekend. I have some good news for you, but let's take a look at what's going on across the province. So there's the temperatures for St. John's metro area. Most of eastern Newfoundland really will be seeing these temperatures. So once the rain clears tomorrow, sunshine, 21 degrees, at least the sun should come out. We may see a bit more cloud cover creep in into the evening hours, but overall a beautiful day. And then Sunday, looking at some cloudy periods as well, and 23 degrees. Central Newfoundland, you're looking at the warmest, anywhere from 24 to 25 degrees. Few showers possible on Sunday. And then for Western Newfoundland, you're looking pretty beautiful. Mostly sunshine, at least for most part, 18 to 23 degrees. The Big Land's going to start a bit rainy on Saturday and about 11 or 12 degrees, but conditions dramatically improving. As we get into Sunday, you're looking at your temperatures in the teens for you. Now, taking a look at what's going to happen on Monday, not a whole lot. We may see a few clouds in the mix through the day, particularly for Lab West, and then maybe a few showers for southwestern areas of the island as we get into the evening hours on Monday. But again, temperatures should stay pretty mild, particularly for the west coast. You're looking at about a high near 25 degrees in Corner Brook. A little bit cooler just thanks to easterly flow the further east you go. So St. John's, I have you around 13 degrees through the day with clouds, maybe even some drizzle as well. But the rest of the island looking lovely. Up across the Big Land as well. 22 degrees in Happy Valley, Goose Bay, 21 in Lab City. And then those temperatures in the teens for coastal areas as well with lots of sunshine. Again, Lab West, you'll see some showers as we get into the afternoon. So as we head through next week, a bit of a change in the jet stream. We're going to see this Omega block. The reason why it's called Omega, I've told you this a few times, but it's because it looks like the Greek letter Omega. So that is going to bring some cold air, cooler air, I should say. Park it right over eastern Newfoundland for most of next week, at least a couple of days of next week. That'll keep us in some onshore flow, so potentially some cooler temperatures, but don't worry, by the time we get into Thursday and Friday, that ridge will move in, and we should actually see those temperatures warm up quite nicely and even warmer into next week. At least the long range looks that way. Taking a look at the forecast, there's those cooler temperatures. I mean, they're not cool by any means, but between 10 to 13 degrees. Some showers will stick around again in onshore flow. Overnight lows are going to dip back into the single digits as well. And then as far as central Newfoundland goes, you're looking like your temperatures should stay warmer. About 18 degrees for Tuesday, 16 on Wednesday, looking at a mix of sun and cloud through the afternoon. And then western Newfoundland, a rainy start to the weekend, or week I should say, even into Tuesday, but by Wednesday, looking at 20 degrees and some sunshine at this point. Now for eastern Labrador, you're looking at your temperatures climbing very beautifully into the low 20s, even mid 20s by Wednesday with a mix of sun and cloud. And your overnight lows again back up into the teens, so 13 to 15 degrees. And then for western Labrador, take a look at those temperatures, lovely into the 20s. This is well above where you should be sitting this time of year. Some showers on Monday, and Tuesday and Wednesday look beautiful. And again, your overnight lows will start to warm up as we get into Wednesday. Wanted to share this photo. Some night out there in the water.
So
Carrington
peaceful.
Basin. Isn't that great?
It's a
great
one.
shot there. Yeah, Eileen shared this lovely shot with us. I'd love to be out there right now.
So calm.
That's probably some of the best time you spend is in a kayak or in a canoe, I'd say.
Yeah, I'd love to get out and do some of that this summer.
Absolutely. If you have any weather photos from this weekend, I'm sure there'll be lots of you out enjoying. Great camping weekend too. Send them to my Facebook page, either Twitter or email them to nlphotos@cbc.ca.
Yeah, and if you're a gardener, there are a few events happening the weekend tomorrow. On last night's show, we talked about the Friends of the Garden annual spring sale is happening tomorrow morning starting at 9 a.m. It's always very, very popular. But there's another one too. Cochrane Street United Church is having their plant sale, and that's starting at 11 to 2. So they have hot dogs and stuff like that too. So if you're looking to go out and grab some plants tomorrow, you can hit up the Botanical Garden, go to Cochrane Street United Church. Be great.
And then put them all out on the patio.
Yeah, and enjoy them.
That's right, exactly.
Well, that's it for us this evening. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good night.